Hello and welcome to Men in the Den. My name is Eric and it's soon to be Friday, November 11th. It's our Heroes Week here on Men in the Den, and I'm in a very difficult headspace because of the recent United States election. As has been discussed on the channel, pretty much everything has gone to shit in the last 3 days. And all of us lefty faggots are kind of freaking out, like, what in the hell is going to happen to us in our lives? So, as someone who lives in the swamp that is apparently soon to be drained, known as Washington, D.C., or the district as we refer to it locally, I have faith that the district itself is going to do pretty good. I'm sorry for the rest of America because it's probably going to go to shit. But we have a new president-elect, and no one in this city voted for him. Well, 5% of people voted for him, maybe 3-ish, actually. DC, if you don't know, is like a deeply, deeply Democratic enclave. We have a population that bolts about 93-95% Democratic, with a little bit of Green and a little bit of Libertarian and a little bit of Republican on the far, far edge. We are a very diverse city. We're a very liberal city, like super, super, super liberal, like sitting in the pink basque of my recreational marijuana grow light in my living room liberal. So, yeah, a lot of us here have been freaking out, and I've had about 10 beers tonight, so I hope I don't rant for too long about this, because we do need to talk about people that are inspiring to us. But I've had a lot of dark thoughts since Tuesday night, and I haven't slept a lot, and I know that there's a lot of queer people out there, trans people, that are in serious distress. And looking at, the forthcoming administration gives a lot of us deep levels of concern, to the point where some people are suicidal. I know myself, I had a very dark turn on Tuesday night and contemplated ending my own life, and I did not. I have a lot of personal connections that make such a thing a difficult, extra difficult choice. But there's news reports out there from people who have, about people who have committed suicide as a result of this election, because the anti-gay hate wave has started sweeping America, and people in vulnerable locations are feeling extremely, extremely vulnerable. You can do things for yourself to try to help yourself, just so that you know. If you are feeling suicidal, please contact Trans Lifeline or the Trevor Project. I'm going to put links down in the crotch to this video so that you can contact a place to talk to someone, to talk you down. I know that a lot of people need that help right now. So please, please, if you are contemplating something, if you are contemplating taking your life, please reach out to someone and talk about it. Talk to someone, connect with another human being, talk to someone you care about, and reconnect with them so that you can process the emotions that you're feeling in a healthy way. Please do that. Please do that. Please check in the links for suicide hotline so that you can contact somebody. For those of you in hard red districts, I feel very sorry for you, and I understand that whatever it is that you need to do to protect yourself, you should absolutely do that. If that means that you feel that you need to arm yourself or take personal safety lessons, do that. Do that. Absolutely do that. If that means that you need to hide yourself or hide your sexuality, if you do not feel safe in public, do what you need to do to protect yourself. Because if there are people out there, and I know that there are people out there that are leaving threatening notes or that are actively harassing people or are beating people in public. This is happening. This is absolutely happening to people, and you need to do what makes you safe. Please, please do what you need to do to keep yourself safe. For the people in blue districts like myself, where we're shielded from much of the drama that's happening in the rest of the states, do not ignore what's happening to the rest of the country. Talk about it, share it on social media, contact your family if you haven't contacted them, and talk to them about the fear that you're having. And if they shut you out, cut them out of your fucking life. Let them know that this is important. Let them know that if they're not going to talk to you about this, that they don't need to be a part of your life. You need to surround yourself with people who support you. Do what you need to do to spread the word that this kind of behavior is not acceptable in America, and that you can be there for your brothers and sisters and others in places that need it. This is a really super fucking dark place to be in, and the only consolation that I have is that many of us have been in these places before. I know that I grew up in a very conservative place. I grew up in Midwest in Southern Ohio, and I know that at least twice in my young life I had to run for my own fucking life, and I am deeply afraid of what's going to come to my city, my nice big beautiful Democratic enclave with this new administration. And I've had a lot to think about. I feel comfortable for myself, but I know that there are so many people out there that absolutely need help. I'm here to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, please reach out to me. I've left information in my instructions down in the crotch to contact me. If you need to contact me, please reach out. I'm here to help you. I'm here to talk to you, and I want to do anything that I can to help you in your situation as we move into a very deeply unknown scenario. I can't believe that I had to have that conversation again. I felt like for so long that we were beyond bullshit like this. But I know that people out there in the Midwest and, Western states and, the South have had to deal with conservative governments trying to roll back, progress for LGBT rights. And, the North Carolina and their goddamn trans bill, and Indiana and Mike Pence and the RFRA acts and all the stuff that we talked about. I talked about with my friend Pete from People for the American Way back in, when the primary was happening and, Donald Trump got elected, and we talked about like the alt-right and the hard right people and what their plans are. Those plans are coming. Legislation is already in the works. Be prepared. Be prepared to fight. Be prepared to contact your Congress people and hold their fucking feet to the fire with every ounce of strength that you have. Do not be silent. Do not walk away from this. This is a fight that we all need to be involved in. First up on the table is going to be something like the First Amendment Defense Act, which is going to roll out, religious freedom, First Amendment, blah, blah, constitutional rights for people to discriminate against gay people. That's probably going to happen. And that's going to be a huge goddamn fight. Donate to the ACLU. Contact people if you get discriminated against in a place of public business. Start a goddamn lawsuit. Do what you need to do to bring bullshit like that down. Contact your Congress people before it happens. Tell them that it is a terrible idea that should never come to be. Do not let the conservative administration that is coming get those bills. Talk to your people. Especially if you live in Republican districts, contact your Republican Congress people and tell them that you are not okay with this. The one saving grace that we have in America is that as a representative government, we can reach out to our Congress people. Go back to my LGBT voter video. Go to house.gov, go to senate.gov, contact those people and tell them that anti-gay legislation has no place in America. Tell them that, you know, religious discrimination has no place in America. Do the good thing and fight the good fight, and tell them that the work that has been done over the last 8 years to make America a safer, more progressive place, a place that is safer for LGBT Americans, for trans people, for people of minorities of all statuses, please tell them that you do not support anti-gay and discriminatory legislation. Tell them right now. So this week is about heroes, and I'm feeling very uninspired. And I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I spent a lot of time coming up blank, but I think that the people that I want to talk about today in terms of heroes are the fighters, the people that really made a difference in the gay community. And I'm going to go back to Stonewall. I'm going to start with Stonewall. I'm going to talk about Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. These were trans women, people of color, who were right there on the front lines, who said, I've had it. I'm not going to jail. This is bullshit. We're not going to stand for it. There's a great segment on Drunk History that came out a couple weeks ago where they talk about Marsha P. Johnson and her life and about the Stonewall riots and how she was one of those bitches that like threw a shot glass and busted mirrors and like had told the police straight up she's not going down. And, you know, she marched people out of that goddamn bar and the police did not take them. She was a fighter. She was a goddamn fighter, and she stood up for what was right. She stood up against harassers, and she told them, not today. Not today. And Sylvia Rivera, Latina trans woman, was right there with her at Stonewall. And, you know, together, them and all of the other people there in New York City, they said, fuck off. We are done with your bullshit. Take a lesson from history. These brave women stood up against discrimination and they said, not today. We are not going to have this bullshit. You are not going to do this to us anymore. We're fucking done. Do that. Let's all do that. Let's all band together and say, not today, Satan. This is not happening. Yes, Marsha P. Johnson. Look her up. Look up Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. Learn about the trans women of color who were there, who started the Stonewall riots. Ignore the goddamn movie that Roland Emmerich came out with because he has no idea what he's talking about. People of color, trans people were there on day one and they stood up against the police. And that is the kind of spirit that we need to have. The other person that I want to tell you about right now is Frank Kameny. Frank Kameny is somebody that I had the great pleasure to meet here living in Washington, D.C. Frank Kameny was a man who was drummed out of the federal government during the Lavender Scare. You know, he was openly gay at a very early time in American politics. And under the House Un-American Activities Committee, you know, gay people were pushed out of federal service. And he was working for the Naval Observatory. I believe that's what it was. And he was fired for being queer. And he fought it. He fought it tooth and nail. He fought it through court cases. And, you know, over time, his dedicated activist work led to the overturn of the federal ban on gay employees, especially, you know, because when you're out, you can't hold that against somebody. You can't blackmail somebody for being queer when it's not a secret. Frank Kameny, I did a video about him called I Kiss Frank Kameny. Please go back down into the history of this channel and look for that video. I loved this man. He was one of the sweetest people that you would ever meet in your entire life. And you know, I tell a story that one of the nights that I met Frank Kameny, I was at Lambda Rising, the former gay bookstore here in DC, when Larry Kramer, you know, famous gay playwright from New York City, came down here to give his speech about the tragedy of today's gays. and telling people in DC that they needed to go down and march on the federal government, and that, you know, being queers in Washington, we needed to be more activists and stand up to, you know, the right-wing government, you know, under the Bush administration. And Frank Kameny tore him a new asshole. He's like, you have no idea what we've been going through down here. You don't know how disenfranchised we are, or how little power we have with the goddamn federal government. You son of a bitch up in New York, who actually has a representative, can actually do something. And you come down here and tell us what to do? Get the fuck out of here. And everyone busted out in applause. It was fucking fantastic. It was absolutely wonderful. And that was one of my introductions to gay activism in DC. And I fell in love with him, absolutely fell in love with him. And, you know, there's a star named after him. He was an astronomer. And a friend of mine up in Massachusetts had been working with the AAVSO, which is an astronomical observation group, and they named a star after Frank Kameny. And the gay community has a long, storied history of activism. You don't fuck with us, because we come after you in droves. We come after you with everything that we've got, including lawsuits. Lawsuits after lawsuits, very carefully structured to lead us all the way up to the goddamn Supreme Court to overturn everything that is standing in our way. So if you want to come for us, don't, because we are going to take you fucking down. So for those of you who are despondent, for those of you who are fearing, for those of you who are in a very dark place because this election has really fucked you over, it's fucked so many of us over, take heart, because the gay community is strong. The gay community has been through far worse than this, and we will persevere. And the wheels of government are still on the tracks, and we will do everything in our goddamn power to stop the darkness. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. Don't forget, you can also buy t-shirts from Men of the Den at redbubble.com/nightmedic. That's Dr. Phil's t-shirt shop. And you can find us here every single day of the week. And I hope to see you all next Friday. Cheers.